The thing that I didn't get to ask anyone was whether anyone thinks Van Dijk deserves the Ballon d'Or this year. And I bet you could make a real argument for Messi. A lot of people say the current...
No, it's Van Dijk.
He's deserving of it,
Messi.
but he won't get it. But he's deserving of it.
I think it's Van Dijk.
Ahead of Messi. Messi scored 50-plus goals last season.
Should we just define what the Ballon d'Or is for, or what it represents?
You enlighten us, Wizzy. I'm enjoying this.
Well, I'm just keen to see where you stand, if anything, because I know that he's won is it the best FIFA best?
Yeah.
Which is
It's a good indicator as to who's going to win the Ballon d'Or.
It's a bit like the Grammys or sort of that level of
So you can expect, I think, him to pick it up. However, for me, it represents the best player in the world, and it's disrespectful to say it's not Lionel Messi or Cristiano Ronaldo, but particularly Lionel Messi.
Do you know what sort of annoyed me, though? Is, again, it comes back to English punditry on BT Sport yesterday. I like BT Sport, and I think they tend to have intelligent conversations, but it was really two strikers, I can't remember who it was, against Martin Keown, and Keown was going, we do have to respect, though... Oh, sorry, it was Rio Ferdinand and someone else. And we do have to respect that every week Van Dijk is that player that people go to the stadium and go, can that striker beat that guy?
Yeah.
And so he's one of the few defenders in world football right now where when Van Dijk does something good, people go, oh, fuck, that was actually really good. That is a real... He is a position-defining player right now.
Changed. He's changed the way people view defending a little bit, as in, he's become a force of nature in his own way, in a different kind of way than defenders usually are.
He's also done the thing. As a single player, he's changed the entire complexion of Liverpool Football Club. Yeah. Liverpool weren't worthy contenders for trophies pre-Van Dijk. Van Dijk signs, they win a Champions League. And I think that contribution alone, he's won a Champions League because of his contribution, means that I think you have to give it to him. Of course, I think Lionel Messi is a better footballer
That's
than
the thing,
Van Dijk.
it's about it's about how you define it.
But then you're just giving it to Messi every week.
No.
Well, if he's the best player in the
Ronaldo's
world, if he's the best player in the world, and that's what the competition's supposed to represent, then that's what you do. It doesn't matter whether.
But that means a goalkeeper, for example, will never win it.
It's
in your,
very hard.
In your definition of it, in Hugh's definition, a keeper can't win it.
What we're judging here, lads, though, is an attacking player and a defensive player.
Yeah.
And what we're trying to work out is the effectiveness of Van Dijk more so than the effectiveness of Messi. It's hard to do that.
So,
I'd say this season, Van Dijk is the man.
That was going to be the next point that I was going to make. Someone else yesterday on the analysis said, oh, well, you go to watch the strikers, you go to watch the guys who score goals. Yeah. And I actually thought, well, no, actually, you kind of go. Don't. You do also go to a lot of people
Mostly.
now go to watch how calm he is. Genuinely, when you watch Van Dijk as much as you watch the person attacking him.
I find the beauty in a 50-50 challenge. I find the beauty in last-ditch defending. I genuinely do. I find a last-ditch Ashley Cole off the line moment as enthralling as I do Eden Hazard beating 3 players and scoring a goal.
Okay, my bigger question to you then is, Hugh, right? So Messi is clearly the best footballer on the planet right now. Is Barcelona winning what they won last season, or Liverpool winning what they won last season?
He's not playing.
More incredible.
He's not playing, so don't think it really counts what Barcelona are doing. He's not been playing, so whatever Barcelona are doing right now is kind of...
He has a question. Was Messi's contribution to Barcelona or Van Dijk's contribution to Liverpool? Who was the most effective of those?
This is the thing. I think for this year, because the Ballon d'Or is an award presented every year.
Yeah.
And in this current year, I would say Van Dijk should get it. So when you think of it,
I think
personally, just the fact that Valverde is so reliant on him for everything, and the fact that yet again they came good. They didn't win the Champions League, but you could look at those 2 legs against Liverpool in very different circumstances, and you could give one plaudits once and the other the other. You know.
Yeah.
I just think that he is a generational talent that is so past anybody else that is even living, that it is genuinely disrespectful not to have him at least on that conversation. In the conversation,
he's in the conversation. Yeah. He's in the top 3.
I mean, for Van Dijk, it has, like Rory said, it's transformed totally Liverpool's fortunes. However,
I guess
there's a whole team of very, very talented players who are just as responsible in my eyes. Robertson and Trent are sensational players that have been called the best fullbacks in the world right now, or at least there or thereabouts.
Yeah, I genuinely think though a lot of the time that is down to people who don't necessarily see what the Liverpool system is. I'm not saying you.
Robertson, for example, man, his delivery is almost second to none.
But Hugh, with your definition of who should win the Ballon d'Or, out of curiosity, could you ever give it to a keeper?
Yeah, they already have.
No, could you personally, though, with your definition of it?
I mean, are you saying I can work at FIFA and start making decisions?
No, but yes. I mean, I'm just asking your vote. Your vote goes to Messi this year. Could you see, with your definition of it, could your vote ever go to a keeper? Probably not.
Well, that's not it. That's not what we're saying. The answer is yes, it could. You have to prove that you are the best player.
Keeper's never going to be the best footballer in the...
You definitely can be. You definitely can be. Yashin was, and you can be again.
Known as the spot. Is a
very different time in football.
It's not the point. It's not the point. A man who can save 36 penalties in a season is a star, probably the best player in the world. At the time, he was. Russia were a dominant side of that time. Or the USSR were a dominant side of that time.
But it was also a different
Lionel
time.
Messi won the league, consistently scoring 40-plus goals in seasons, continuously. This is not a guy to be messed with. Yeah, you kept a few clean sheets, but hold on a second. You got a £70 million keeper behind you, new guys, £400 million of players around you.
Ter Stegen's worth a massive amount of money.
Now,
I guess
now he is, yeah.
Yeah, so we're going on last season. Ter Stegen's worth a lot of money. And put it this way, Liverpool, I know they didn't actually win the league, but they got
Right, that's the main thing.
No, they did win the Champions League.
But they
fell short of that.
They won the Champions League, but then Barcelona fell short of the... Barcelona massively fell short of the Champions League.
Who the best player in the world is on a knockout competition where over 90 minutes Barnsley can beat Man City. It's possible.
In the Champions League?
Well, in a knockout competition, yeah. 90 minutes of football where one team wins.
I'd give it to Van Dijk. I'd give this based on this year. I get fully what you're saying.
I totally understand a lot of people would.
It's like that position that Thierry Henry was in. He's playing in a phase where he was amazing and could easily go down as the best player in the world. However, he had people in front of him, the Ronaldinhos of the world, the certain people in the world that were ahead of him, as amazing as he was. And I feel like maybe that's Van Dijk in this year.
I think I reluctantly have to give it to Messi, but I think Van Dijk's definitely up there. The question to you is, Brian, Ronaldo's third at the moment. Do you think that someone like Raheem Sterling deserves to be ahead of a Ronaldo?
No.
Yes.
No?
Yes.
Yes.
Absolutely. 100% yes. Absolutely.
Yes.
Raheem Sterling not being in the top three.
Raheem the Dream.
Raheem Sterling has had pretty much a flawless season.
He gets into any team in world football.
He gets into any team in world football. He's become less profligate. He's become ruthless in front of goal. He certainly deserves to be in this competition.
In my opinion, we're talking about quality of a footballer here. If you're asking me who I think is a better footballer, if you put Cristiano Ronaldo in that Man City team, they are a Champions League winning side without a fucking shadow of a doubt. Not even a question in my mind. He would. We would be looking at 100-goal season from this motherfucker. Raheem Sterling, for every goal he scores, misses 3. Like, Ronaldo would be gobbling all of that.
But I would
shit
say that
up.
Man City are going to win the Champions League.
No, probably. And Raheem Sterling's a fucking great player. He's top 5, probably. I'm just saying, Ronaldo and Raheem Sterling, I don't give a fuck, will never, ever reach the level of Cristiano Ronaldo.
No, not over Ronaldo's career, but certainly
Ronaldo
over
could
the
be
Ronaldo
100
today.
and still be better than Raheem Sterling. And no offence, we're talking about one of the GOATs. So Raheem Sterling is a fucking good player, and in a generation, we're going to say he's one of the best English players around now. I'm never going to mention ever again after this show right now Sterling and Ronaldo in the same set.
Raheem Sterling will win a Ballon d'Or.
We're not talking about the same.
Raheem Sterling will win a Ballon d'Or.
Yes, agreed. But is it because he's as good as Ronaldo? Is he fuck?
What I love there was that Brian actually totally agrees, but he isn't countering his own point.
Sterling is fucking great. He's just not
whilst Ronaldo's about.
So you know what I do find interesting is I think a lot of people are waiting for Ronaldo and Messi to retire, so they're basically waiting in the wings for that to be ready. I genuinely think at that point Nike will turn all of their attention to someone like a Raheem Sterling and turn him into a generation-defining player.
Can I just say one thing on the debate though, on this debate between Van Dijk and Messi? Comparing them is so difficult because they're so different. I think we're talking about two players who've probably brought about equal amounts of success in terms of winning games to their clubs. But I agree with what Hugh's saying in terms of as a footballer, Messi is a better footballer.
Hands down.
That's why the initial thing is, what is this with?
But we're talking about a very effective player in Van Dijk who has probably won as many points as Messi has for his club. That, in my opinion,
for a centre back to even be considered is a big deal. You know, when people even go to the stores to buy jerseys, they're buying striker tops immediately. To walk in and say, "Do you have a Van Dijk top?" goes to show this year is his year.
This is the one thing I'm just so sick of hearing this guy's voice.
All right.